everybody, and welcome to another video. We're doing a Blues video this time. Put the Euros on hold, people. We've got stuff to talk about. There's some transfer activity potentially for Birmingham City. I'm here with Swaino. Good to see you again, Swaino. You're looking very well.
Thank you very much, Joe. Great to see you. And as you can see, I'm sporting the new Blues away kit for the next season.
Amazing, mate. We're going to be talking about some potential transfer news, who we want in, who could be leaving potentially, a few other things to do with Blues. Get your comments in as well, because we want to hear who you want to come in. What do you think of the latest thing? What's going to happen with players like Halilovic, whatever? Get them in the comments below. Also, if you're looking at watching any of the 8 o'clock kickoffs after this, make sure you download the Fanslide app, which you can see up here. The Fanslide app. Oh, there it is. It's an amazing app. It is fantasy football meets in play. It's perfect. Give it a go. I've been playing it alongside the Euros. It's completely free to play, and there's a cash prize for every single game of the Euros. It's like, I've said this before, I've got commitment issues, and Fanslide have fixed them for me. It's absolutely perfect. One game at a time. You don't have to have this season-long commitment. So when you come out of the Euros, every single game after that, you can do individually. It's great fun. And if you get it, make sure you add me on there. Add me at BrummieJoe, and I'll add you back, and we can have a chat at the 8 o'clock kickoff games. But without further ado, let's get into it. Swaino, how about, I need to actually tweet this out. So could you give me your initial thoughts on the transfers coming in and out? Who you think? We've got some individuals lined up, but where do you think Blues need to strengthen, if anywhere? And if it's not a position, maybe what attribute are we missing in the team?
Okay, I think firstly, we are relatively well covered in most areas. Obviously, there's been quite a few players who've disappeared, who've left. Players are on loan and stuff. I think that the first one to talk about really is sort of the striking front, the attack front. Particularly if, as it seems to be the case, that Sam Cosgrove, our £2 million purchase from, I think, Aberdeen, seems to have been at least a partial flop last season. It looks like he might be going out on loan, and maybe to League One. Ipswich is one rumour, and you think, wow, that's not a bad deal for them. So in that case, that would leave us needing somebody up front to complement Juki. And I think in that case, what type of player? I think I'd like to see quite a pacey, aggressive, attacking striker, not necessarily a big, tall, lumpen one like Juki. I think that would be a place to start. Well,
speaking of that, the one he was like, with all respect to him, he wasn't the option we wanted. We've got before all this other talk, but there was all that talk about Kevin Nisbet, and now we're seeing him play for Scotland in the Euros. It's just a bit like, what could have been. And I think that is the player that we need to go for. That's the type of player. If we're going to go for a big gangly lump up front, we've already got one, but it's always good having a backup. But he's not going to bring that much different. It's going to be like Calvin Lewis at the Euros. Like, he's there, but is he actually improving anything? Is he making that much of a difference? We need someone who gives us a bit of another option, a bit of a dynamic, and maybe gives Hogan a little bit of competition.
Yeah, and Hogan, definitely needs to step up to the plate a bit more this season. As we all know, when he first arrived, he was on fire, and he's never regained that. And I don't know if that's a confidence thing or whatever. So I'm hoping that, across the board, that players under Bowyer now and starting the season with Bowyer will perform better as a whole. But yeah, definitely, I think we do need to look at that sort of Sam Cosgrove alternative, whoever that is. I think that would be a position to look at. The other position I think would be defence. We are a little light, centre back wise, and also even cover for Maxime Collam. We don't actually have. We don't have another natural right back because Cogley's gone, Valerie's gone.
Have we got what Cogley?
Yeah, Cogley's. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, mate, I don't even realise. Before we carry on, actually, let's have a look through a couple of the comments.
Hello,
Alex,
everyone.
Hello, Alex. How are you doing, mate? Honey Gun. How are you? Cheese on Toast. Great name. Great name. Could be name of the video here. Frankie. James says Nisbet's in. I feel like it's well out of our reach now. Really, it's well out of our grasp. It might be probably another Championship team, but probably not us.
Yeah.
Maybe someone lower down in the Prem would take a punt on him, but I don't know. I just don't think. I think his price will have clearly gone up from what we were looking at in January. Now he's played at the Euros. He's getting international caps. Like there's a lot more eyes on him now.
Absolutely.
So I think we'd probably be looking at double the amount, and we just can't afford that.
We would have got a great deal if we'd have actually secured it last time. But yeah, I think you're right. We've missed the boat on him now. I think he's out of our price range.
That's one of them. You can't get too emotionally attached to these players as easy as it is. Freddie Webber says if we get Ryan Woods in, it'd be pretty decent. I've got to agree with that. We've actually got. We'll be talking about Ryan Woods a little bit later, but definitely think it's someone who will add something to our midfield, just in terms of his passing range, and he's clearly got ability. I know he's been at Millwall, but Millwall played really well last season, and yes, they dropped off a little bit, but I think he's got a lot to do with how successful they were and how cohesive they were as a team. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, playing in a Gary Rowett team, there is a similarity, the style of play to be playing alongside Dutch Mike as well. So I think he could be a really good fit. And the word on the street is that the deal looks quite likely with him. So that he could well be maybe Bowyer's first signing. But I think he's a potential really good signing for Blues. I think we just need to get some good, solid players and players that Lee Bowyer wants. This is the big change since Dong's gone, is that the manager actually chooses the players the manager wants and thinks will fit in best of the team. So fingers crossed with him.
Yeah, and I think there's this whole thing as well. Like every single time we start a season, we have a summer, there seems to be a new manager in, and there's this whole revamp and a massive revamp, loads of different players coming in, which is exciting when it happens. But I mean, ultimately, it just doesn't ever seem to work. And I think what we're more likely to see under Bowyer is the case of just it being a little bit more reserved and like only getting a few players in,
3 or 4 max. Yeah.
I mean, think about the loans that we had last season. We absolutely didn't touch pretty much. Valerie, Harper didn't play that much.
JCS didn't play.
Exactly. I just had a notification from the Blues app. I thought it was a signing, and it was a pre-London sale.
Of course it is.
Ruined my holiday. Halilovic has gone. Face it. Right. Let's go in to actually. Let's have a quick look. Who else have we got in here? We've got Mark Stevart. How are you doing, mate? Sam Cosgrove could prove his worth on loan. Maybe a recall in Jan if need be. Well, that's the thing. He needs to prove himself, doesn't he?
I think, at least the thing is, the positive about that is if he goes to a League One side, he is going to get game time. He will get more game time than he will at Blues. So, yeah, if he can improve it, if he can prove himself there, then, yeah, he may well come back in January. But definitely the best option because he's not going to get a look in at the moment the way he's been playing.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything about this, Ross, about Bella going out on loan. I don't know where
I haven't seen that. I'd be surprised. Is that where have you heard that from, Ross?
Yes, Ross. Is that a troll? Are you trolling? Ben Brereton Diaz. That is a funny one. Chilean. I love how he's just made his name more Chilean. So let's go into. We've actually made some notes, haven't we? Because we're so organised.
We've made notes.
We've made notes.
First time ever.
The first time for everything. My notes are usually a picture of a goal with an arrow pointing at it.
Joe, can I just say, have you still got that for next season?
Oh, I've got it somewhere, man. I'm bringing it to the game. I'm going to hold it up in the air.
Not that we'll be doing, because obviously we'll be at the games, but just take it to away games, stuff like that. Anyway,
I'm taking it. I'm going to stand by the corner flag and point at it, just a big arrow. And when we're winning 1-0 up. Hi says, I got the pre-London as well. I thought it was a signing. We all got it. Paul Fowle, how you doing, mate? How are you? I'm good, thank you. That wasn't me talking to myself. I was replying to yours as well. Right. So we've talked a little bit about Ryan Woods. Would you take him, Swaino?
See what you've done there.
Thank you. I know.
Yes, I think I would. Because
you would.
I would take Wood. Would you? Would? No, I think I would. because midfield was one of those areas. We had about 57 midfielders last season, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we have got rid of, like Crowley and San Jose, and who else has gone?
Harper's gone. Obviously, he was on loan, but he featured a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's 3 there.
So that's 3.
Terrell, did you say?
Terrell's gone, yeah. So yeah, I think we do. We need someone, and again, if it's a player that Lee Bowyer wants, then it's a player that's going to fit into the team. And we need some. We've got like Gardner and Sunic are good defensive holding players, but we need to get some good punchy attacking, aggressive, creative midfielders, or 1 or 2 extra, I think. And I think he would be a really good signing. And he proved himself, because I think he wasn't he at Brentford 2016-17 in that season?
Yeah, he went for quite a bit to Stoke, I think. He went for a good few million, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was really good at. He was really good at Brentford. Stoke. It was part of that Stoke team where they had a really good squad on paper, but they could never really gel. Yeah. And then obviously at Millwall as well. But like you said, I think the fact that he's been at Millwall, he's been a good player at Millwall. Yes. He would be able to slot into our team so easily because he's so used to our style of play. Because it's gonna be exactly the same, pretty much.
Absolutely, I think he's. Again, like you said earlier about we've had all these new managers in recent years and bringing in loads and loads of players. And I'd much rather get 3 or 4 players who we know, like you say, can slot into the side and can get working with the team really quickly. And they'll be worth 3 or 4 of these players who come in, and don't know anything about playing in the Championship. To have a player who's that experienced, who's been successful, who knows the sort of style of play that Blues play, really, I think he'd be a real asset for us. Definitely. You watch him be out on loan in October, but hopefully.
No, exactly. I mean, that's the guy, but that's the difference. When you get these San Jose's from different leagues and stuff, that's what I'm on about with him being at Millwall. He's not gonna. He's gonna provide something, isn't he? And when you look at him at Millwall, they did well with him, and he worked well. But we've got much better attacking players here, I'd say. When you look at our wingers, when you look at
definitely,
Luke, Hogan, especially on their day. Yeah, they're good players, so it's just about slowly improving, and it's not going to be a rehaul. It's not going to be this get everyone in to get top 6 this season. It's just building an identity.
Yeah, it's topping up a team that's we know we've got a good basic team who went through a really terrible time. But we've got some really decent players, and I think it's just adding those few players in the right places is far more effective than bringing in 12 new players from all over the place who've got no idea and haven't played together before. I think, fingers crossed that is our first signing. I'd really like that. That would make me a happy chap.
Yeah, I hope so. Next up is one that's maybe not as high profile. I mean, he's probably high profile for us to a certain extent in the fact he plays in the same league. We'll go down to League One, and we've been linked with Jordan Graham, another free agent. Again, I wouldn't turn my nose up at any League One players when you see the amount of look at Ivan Toney.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually 1 day older than me, Jordan Graham is. So actually he's getting on quite a bit. But he's
wow.
So that makes him 26.
Let's 13
goals and 6 assists in 44 last season. Is it just a bit of backup maybe for Bella on the left-hand side and
I think
a different option?
I'll be honest, I don't really know much about him, but I think if he's like you said about League One, I don't think we should be elitist. There are many treasures to be had, and let's be realistic about where we are and what our aspirations are. And I think if we can get players who are not hugely expensive, for example, like Sanchez, who we bought for about 4p. There's nothing wrong in getting players who you don't know a lot about, but who may well fit in and may well be a really good backup for us. Absolutely. I think, again, I keep going back to this thing. If Lee Bowyer is identifying these players and likes the look of them, I'm happy to go with what he thinks because he's the expert on who's going to play, who's going to work with the team. So, yeah, why not? If he's, did you say he's from Gillingham, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he still with Gillingham, or has he been let go by them?
He's just his contract's just expired, and I think they wanted him on, but he's looking at other options.
Oh, okay.
Birmingham City.
What do you think? Would you take him?
I wouldn't say no. Especially for a free agent. Someone that's got experience, probably fit into this side. I think he'd be a player, and he's got a few years in him. I think he's definitely a player that we could utilise in our squad, and he's just someone that would be probably a good squad player. Whether it's on the bench and whether Bella's injured, you've got someone you can bring in there. I don't think not every player has to be an absolute groundbreaking, amazing player. I don't think it's just building this little squad up. Who knows? He could. I mean, he's got what 21 goal contributions in League One. That's quite impressive. If he gets half of that in the Championship, then I'd be impressed.
Exactly, and again, there is a lot to be said for, like you said, for players who are not necessarily first team regulars, but also aren't under 23s. You need some players who are sort of sit in between, who are good backup, who are good squad players. So I think he would, like again, if he's not costing us anything, he could be a really useful asset. So that's a thumbs up from me.
Yes,
Jordan.
Yes, I agree with you. Hi says, when is the kit coming out? Not sure. I feel like I might be disappointed again with the whole kit.
No, it's going to be a great one, Joe. I've got a good feeling this season.
It's going to be a stick-on badge.
No, because they've even addressed it. Did you see? Because people were moaning about it, and they said it's going to be stitched on. Probably.
Oh, did that?
They said they're going to check. They're going to see what the quality's like. They said they're going to look at samples or whatever, and if it's not really good, they're going to get it as a stitched-on version. That's what I read.
I know people were complaining about the training wear, but I mean, where was that? Was that on Twitter?
Yeah, but it was quoting. No, it was. Was it Twitter? But it was Blues. I think it came from Blues themselves somewhere. I'll tell you what it was. It was in that update they did. They did the update.
I did see one, but then the training wear came out after that, and it was stick-on badges and stuff. But maybe the actual kit is different. But again, it's good to see that transparency from Blues, which is something that we're not really used to seeing, are we?
I'll tell you what, Joe. Just quick on the. I'm just conscious of time, but on the new kit. Just a bit of breaking news. I may well be purchasing a medium rather than a large.
Woo! Oh, can we give some love to Swaino in the chat?
It's my last day of catch to 25k on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously, if my man boobs sort of show up too much in my shirt, I will be returning it for a large. But fingers crossed. Anyway, onwards.
I've been on the same thing. It's my sister's wedding on Friday. I've been trying to cut down. Not cut down as much as I hope, but
every little helps, Joe. Every little helps.
They said stitch on for 2022, so it looks like stick on this season. Where did they say that?
Right, fair enough.
Let me know where they said that as well. We need a decent finisher, aka Pookie. We do. But they're very hard to come by, and we've found out our recruitment isn't always the best. So. I mean, who knows? Hopefully, we do get someone like that.
Do you know you were talking about players, Scottish players sort of in the Scotland team who were thinking, could be playing at Blues. Of course, there's a certain Scottish player who's really shone pretty much is Mr. Shay Adams. Now, he would be a perfect fit for Blues, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Honestly, I was watching him, and I was like, he's the one that's making a difference for Scotland, isn't he? Like, you've got certain players pulling the strings, but you give the ball up to him, and he makes a difference. So I was like a little bit like, I don't want him to score or anything, but I was just a little bit proud of him. I
wanted him to score, but I wanted just to win 3-1.
Yeah, I was 5-1 or something like that. But it was a 0-0, of course.
Right.
Anyway, wasn't it?
Anyway.
That will be next season.
Next season, right.
Right shirts come up very small in medium. Don't. He'll be fine, okay? I promise. Right, who else have we got?
Another J. What about Josh?
This is one for you. I actually didn't make any notes on Josh.
Josh Windass.
Apart from the fact that I read that there was a bid rejected. Millwall went for him and they rejected
well, it's still looking. Millwall is looking the most likely at the moment. Apparently, so Josh he's from Sheffield Wednesday, and I think he's 27, and I think son of the famous Dean Windass, the terrifying midfielder who played for someone up north. But Yeah, I think he rejected a deal at Sheffield Wednesday, so he's looking to move. But Millwall look like they may be getting him. But again, that says something about the type of player he is and why Blues are interested. Because if he's Millwall looking at him, then ergo Blues are looking at him as well. And again, yeah. I think he could be a very good asset. Any midfielder who's creative, who's got a sort of a good high pass ratio, which he has, then definitely. But it looks like we may be missing out on him at the moment. That's the latest.
Stuart has also said
Shane McAdams. Genius.
Love it. Yeah, it's a shame about Windass. I mean, it's always good being linked with a striker. And I mean, I haven't seen too much of him, but we're gonna have to see what happens because. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing's done until it's done, is it? So yeah, exactly. If we come in sweeping in with an offer, then you just don't know. I think if Bowie wants him enough, he'll have the pulling power to get him on board. But
do you know what? Sorry, Joe. I was literally going to say exactly the same thing. We've got far more chance of getting some of these players with Lee Bowyer than Karanka, I reckon. So yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just thought that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
No, definitely. But I also think he's going to be very careful because he's going to have probably a small pot of money. And it's going to be like, okay, how do I need to spend this and spend it sensibly? And I don't think he's the type of man that's going to get mugged off or robbed. No. So that's it. And, we're still early in this transfer window. Yeah. And there's still a lot of movement to be done. But I think it's time for us to move on to the curious case of Alen Halilovic. It's got to be happening. It's got to be happening, Swaino. He's got to be joining.
There was the photo. Do you want to tell everyone about? You saw the Sunich photo.
There was the Sunich photo.
Mate.
But did you see? What the Blues admin did?
What with his birthday?
No,
something else.
Someone took a look. You know what? You can go on Twitter and looked at what someone's liked. The tweets that someone have liked and. They've deleted it now, but Blues, a few days ago, I think it was last week, they liked the tweet of Alen signing in last summer. So the admin went all the way back and liked the tweet. And I know this admin, he likes to be sneaky, drip feed information,
maybe little clues.
Yeah, and then there's I guarantee there's gonna be some video out where it's like. It's going to be Sunich in the car again.
It'd be like a bromance thing, like him picking him up. It'd be like going on a date and he calls for someone. He's beep beep in his car, and the door opens and you see someone walking down the path and you can't quite tell. And then he gets into the car and Sunich goes hi, and he turns and it's Halilovic. He goes hi, should we go? And they zoom off towards St Andrews. You're right. Yeah. I think we've got to be positive. And Joe, how mega would it be if Halilovic was at Blues next season?
I think it'd be great. I think it's the best thing for both parties, isn't it? Like,
definitely,
he needs to settle somewhere. Yeah, he does. And I think we need a player like that. We need someone that's exciting and creative because as much as we're, a Lee Bowyer team, a Millwall, a Rowett team, a Monk team, almost, we need those creative sparks because it's about, we just need that because otherwise it's just going to be like England v Scotland every game. Yeah. You've got to have a little bit of spark, and he's shown that. And you just see him on the ball, and he's just a wonderful player.
And you're right. I mean, and for him, just for his career, he was like one of the most vaunted young players around a few years ago. He was like the new Messi and all this kind of stuff. And he's typically one of those players who's just buggered it up wherever he's gone. He's not lived up to his potential. And I think you're right. He just needs to be at one club for 2 seasons. How old is he now? He's about 27, 26?
I thought he was like 25.
Oh, is he younger than that? 24. So he's still got time. So he could, because clearly if he fulfills his abilities and his talents, he could certainly leave Blues and go to a bigger club. But I think you're right. He's got to prove himself as a football player. Otherwise he's going to end up at like Macclesfield or something. Do you know what I
mean? Yeah. No offense to you from random league. Yeah. I think, he turned 25 3 days ago.
Right. Oh, right. So he's younger than I thought, which is great. He's a real talent. And, we've all seen him. We've all seen what he can do. And I just think, he just needs to settle down, get his head down, and And if he really commits himself properly, then he's surely one of the first names on the team sheet for most games. I think the only issue I got with him is his stamina, or just his performance. He always fades, doesn't he? After the first, if he starts a game into the second half, he fades quite quickly. So that's something he needs to look at. But other than that, he's clearly got ability. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a player that can change a game for us, though. To be honest,
100%.
Before we go into the final segment, I just want to give one more shout out to Fanslide, just because the game, the game is going to be starting at 8 p.m. So I'm going to join in. But basically, I'm just going to show you quickly how it works. You can download this using the link in description. Add me on there at BrummieJoe, and I'll show you now. So there's £50 prize pool for each of these. But as an example, there was a £500 one for the England game, and there's thousands to be given away. So if I look at the Finland-Belgium game, you can basically pick players here, and they each get 20 minutes. So I usually put the goalie on. Oh, this is hard. Oh, I'm doing it in reverse. And then they get 20 minutes of game time, and you get points based on what they do. So it makes watching a game like Finland-Belgium, or who else is on? Russia-Denmark. Watching Russia-Denmark actually makes it a bit more fun. So I'm going to be playing them. There's a live chat in there. You can talk to me after this. So just download it, add me, and we'll see who can get the best score today, because you can actually filter the thing by your name. Also, we're doing a £100 giveaway. If you download this app, it's going to be a league table just for BrummieJoe followers. So £100 up for grabs. So download that if you want to. But yeah, no, I'm actually really enjoying it. We need to get you on it, Swaino. You need to play me later. But what are we saying before? So the last segment, we want your thoughts, really. We're going to talk a little bit about. I think we've got one more player on here. Yes,
I think I've got another one. We've got two more.
Oh, who have you got?
Well, we've got Stephen, we were going to mention, and then Dion is another one.
Go on then, Dion.
Okay. So the Dion is just a late arriving one, which I've just found. Dion
Dublin, is it?
Huh? Not Dublin. Surprise. Dion Sanderson, who's a 21-year-old centre-back who plays for Wolves, and he spent last season on loan at Sunderland and did really well. And Sunderland wanted to buy him permanently, put in £1 million bid into Wolves, which is instantly rejected. And Blues are apparently sniffing around a little bit at the possibility of Dion Sanderson, and but obviously it'd be more than £1 million. But pretty highly rated. Obviously, Wolves player. They've just signed a new defender, so they don't need him as backup. But yeah, he could be a nice, sneaky little, and a youngster as well. So could be a decent option. So yeah, that's him. Do you want? Who was the other one? It was another defender, wasn't it? I think we were talking about.
Go on, go for it.
Stephen O'Donnell.
Oh yes.
Talking of players who are currently playing for the Scotland team in the Euros, and he's a right back. A position we definitely could utilise and play some other well. And he is possible. He's one that Blues are looking at. The only downside there is, of many, there are a lot of championship clubs looking at Stephen O'Donnell. And so we'd be facing a lot of stiff competition. So I can't see that one coming to fruition. But, that's the problem. In some ways, it's good. He's obviously a good player. He gets into the Scotland side. The downside is, as always, he raises his profile, raises his price.
As always, yeah. I would personally avoid going for any players that's like played in the. I just think it's an inflated price that doesn't.
It worked with Zigic though, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah, true. I didn't even think about that. It did indeed. So maybe make me eat my words. We'll have to see. One more thing, because I know a lot of you are going to go off to watch the game and hopefully play a bit of Fanslide. I'm actually just putting more players in now. I'm putting Timu Pukki. Actually, I'm going to save him. He's
multitasking, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm multitasking.
Whilst I'm just doing that, Joe, Stoke Sunny 5 says he's a Stoke fan and Ryan Woods is okay, but he just passes sideways and backwards all the time. So a bit of insight.
I've actually seen some stats by Blues Breakdown.
Yeah.
And he said, and it seems like it's his defensive side that isn't the best. But let me have a look.
Oh, okay.
But there's one stat that stood out, which was passes into the penalty area, and like percentage. Mind you, that is a percentage stat. But he's It's much better than. So you got the championship average, and he's 56% accurate passes into the penalty area, which is quite good. Passes to penalty, but he's only got one pass to penalty area per 90. So,
okay,
but half the time that is a good pass. Stats are for prats, aren't they?
Keep with the positives. 50% of one.
However, if you look at, I mean, now this is the thing. Why are you saying, you might be right in the sense of saying he only passes sideways and backwards, because when you look at his stats in the sense of passes per 90, it's 41, which is more than average, and his accurate passes, he's got 87% passing accuracy, but leads me to believe, and like you can say in this one, forward passes per 90 is 11, which is a lot lower. It does lead me to believe that you're probably right in what you're saying.
But don't you think sometimes that comes down to the style of play or the way they're managed? I mean, if the boss says, do not pass backwards, pass forwards, then he'll do as he's told. So I suppose there is that,
True. Yeah, no, very good point, especially when he's playing for Millwall and previously Stoke. They're not exactly the most free-flowing attacking teams in the world, are they?
Exactly.
But yeah, guys, one more thing. Give me in the chat, right? First of all, actually, like the video, and then subscribe if you're new, and then give us a player in the chat right now or in the comment section. If you could sign one player for Blues, and it's got to be realistic within our budget, whatever, not messy, who would you sign? Or what position would you go for? If you can't think of a name, nothing comes on the top of the head, what position would you strengthen? Swaino, give me a position and a player.
Okay, a player. Oh God. I just can't think of anybody. But a position, I think centre back. I think we need cover.
Really?
A centre back or a right back? Yeah. What about you?
Right back makes sense. Centre back, yes. I really like the pairing that Robbo and Dean have made.
It's cover. Cover for them.
But back up. Yeah. What have we got? Like George Friend and who else?
Roberts.
Roberts starts, doesn't he?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry. You were saying Dean and Roberts to start. Sorry, yeah. George Friend and
I don't know. It feels like it's been about a year since I've even looked at it. Anyway, Sam says Halilovic, and you can't think of if he was going to go for a position over anything, he'd say a striker. Let's say a Nisbet. That's probably who I'd say. I'd probably say a striker, and I'd say Nisbet. When you're looking at
Gordon Wade says,
but I mean, it's a bit out of our Mitch Roberts. Lee Camp, get him back. Left back, utility centre back potentially. I just think, who's that? Mossett from Sheffield United is probably out of our price range, isn't he? I'd say it's got to be for me. For me, I would go. I mean, if we're looking at it right now that we don't have Halilovic, I'd probably say Halilovic.
Yeah,
because you've got. I mean, one I forgot about is Odin Bailey coming back. Could he make an impact next season?
Good point.
Is he championship level? If there's no Halilovic, would he push his way forward? When you look at strikers, if we don't get any of them, does Simmons come through? Maybe? Yeah.
Strikers, we're probably going to lose Amari Miller to Leeds for $1.5 million.
Oh, it's annoying.
I'm really gutted because those few times he came on, he did look like, this is a really good young lad. You remember when we were doing watch-alongs and he came on, we thought, he was only on for a few minutes, but seemed to have real good about him, didn't he?
He had something about him, didn't he? But you know what I say, Swaino, if you love him, let him go.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to be, they'll come back. And if not,
exactly.
We'll take the $1.5 million and we'll spend it on someone who wants to be here. All right.
Oh, and just quickly, just mentioned that what's his name? Andy Marshall, the goalkeeping coach from Charlton, has left Charlton. So it looks pretty much likely that he's going to join Blues, and his former colleague Lee Bowyer. Not as exciting as a new striker, but hey, it's something. Just thought I'd add that.
You never know. These things can actually, they can make a difference. Maybe Etheridge will be an absolute world beater next season, and it'll all be in that little thing that no one really cared about as this move. Who knows?
But actually, that's a good point. That is a good point because we all know what Ethers's weaknesses are, which is kicking the ball and flapping at crosses. So if Andy Marshall can cut that out, we'll have a worldie in goal.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. We've got some more comments coming through. Jude Bellingham on loan. Don't think that one's going to happen. Josh Sims or Clark Harris. Good shouts. Joe and Swaino up front from Cheese on Toast. Great name. Probably not. You probably want to avoid that. I mean, we are a great combo, but not on the football pitch.
You probably want to avoid that.
You never know, mate. You never know. We've got everything in there.
Never say never.
We just got to stay on side. That's all. Let everyone else do the work. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. We've the football's kicking off. I need to keep an eye on me game, and it's been nice, man. It's been really nice.
It's been great. We've not chatted for a while, so it's good to catch up. Thanks for everyone joining. I know everyone wants to get off and watch the footy, myself included. So I'll just say thank you very much for joining us, and just to say next season, just think on this: Pompey and Blackpool away days. Get in.
Two Blackpool trips. We're going Blackpool and Preston. Get me on the Pleasure Beach, mate, with a pint in my hand
and a kiss me quick hat.
Oh yes. Let's go. I can't wait, mate. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to see everyone back in the stadiums. It's not long now. We've got a pre-season game. Cheltenham away is going to be the first one.
Yes.
I'm going to be down there.
Do you know what? I'm going to go. Even if I can't get a ticket, I'm going to go.
Yeah. I just can't wait.
I'm just going to stand outside the ground and say, come on, Blues!
Come on. Oh, just music to my ears, mate. Let's get back down to Blues. Let's have a positive season, progression, finish at the dizzy heights of 14th, and we'll push on from there, shall we?
100%.
I won't be getting too ahead of myself. You what?
Let's just have the same manager at the end of the season. I mean, that
would be a start, Swaino, wouldn't it? Amazing. Thank you for being you today, Swaino. Thank you for joining me. And everyone, thank you for joining and watching. Blues finish first. I think on that bombshell, we will end the broadcast. Thank you, Cheese on Toast. We'll see you again soon, hopefully with some more transfer news, maybe a player sign, maybe something's happened. But yeah, we'll see you next time. Keep right on, and come on, England, it's coming home.